This episode of Knights of Degradation may not be suitable for children or impressionable adults. Listener discretion is advised.
We'll say you kind of punch at it a couple times, and yeah, you start to see some chips come out. It feels more like a slate material, so it's like rock glass kind of mixture. So it's breaking pretty easily. It's not fully broken, but if you keep at it for a little bit, you'll probably be able to make the hole big enough for all three of you to go through individually.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we'll say it takes you like 30 seconds to do all that.
While he's doing that, can I prepare an action?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hold my mace up in case something tries to attack him as he breaks through.
So yeah. I mean, eventually unless you want to do it, you eventually get it through, and it's big enough for you to crawl through. Now it wasn't that hard, and it didn't really make a lot of noise or anything. Like it was more just like punching off pieces of when like thin ice freezes on something and you punch it off. It's kind of what it was to you because you're a gigantic person.
Okay. I'll kind of look at the guys behind me and just, I guess, kind of crawl forward and see what I see.
I'll go with him
Okay.
unhesitantantly now.
Do you want to go ahead and just go through as well?
Sure.
Okay. So we'll say you're all in there, and everyone roll a perception.
Nat 20.
I got a 4.
17.
You notice that the person hanging upside down is a gnome. There's this big column in the middle, and there's sort of like natural steps up there. And it looks like a stone broke off and caught his leg, and his leg is smashed, and he's like dangling upside down by what is still attached with his leg. It's very gruesome.
Oh.
You can see like bone and flesh and tendons, and it's just nasty looking. He's not dead. He's not exactly conscious, but you can see every so often he's just like moving, and he has a hand crossbow in each hand. And you see at least 30, maybe 35 of these dead things all over. That obviously he's been shooting as they've come up to him. And then you see down on the ground a little bit is this huge duffel bag, like bigger than he is. I mean, he's a gnome, so it'd be like comical for him to carry this duffel bag, and you can tell it's stuffed full of something. You just can't tell what it is. That's really all that. Well, no, I'm sorry. There's also a pickaxe a little bit to the right. And then you can tell even further to the right is actually another passageway. And then, I think I said this earlier, there's a little like lantern down on the ground that's illuminating a lot of this stuff. And I'll say you see most of this as well. I'll say you see everything but the pickaxe. And then you kind of are just coming up through the hole, so you don't really see much.
So I'm going to hold my shield up above my head.
Oh, I'm sorry, lots of bats too. I don't know if I said that. Lots of bats like flying all over the place.
So I'm going to hold it like angled toward him in case he gets antsy and tries to shoot me. Instinctively, I've really got to save this guy. I really have to.
I'm going to go for the pickaxe.
Okay. Yeah, go pick up the pickaxe. It's just it's a pickaxe made for a gnome. So for you, we'll call it like a hand axe.
Okay.
It does piercing damage if you're cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that'll be what it is. I'm a big fan of like non-traditional improvised weapons, if you guys can't tell.
Yeah. I like that.
So there's like a staircase? Is it like gnome-sized?
No, it's like rocks it's like a naturally formed, like to where you could step up. And it looks like he's just on the middle part of it, and something happened to where a rock fell and crushed his leg.
How big is the rock?
It's a pretty decent size. I mean, for a gnome, I mean, it crushed anybody's leg, but the fact that his leg was so small to begin with, it's like pinned down there good. He might be dead if not for like the crushing of it.
Lift it up and I'll catch him.
It is up high.
Okay.
So you will have to step up there, and if you do that, you'll have to roll some sort of balance or something.
I'm all right with doing that.
Okay.
Unless you want to do it. You're like, nope, I'm good. All right.
You got to remember, Kavagal's not about saving those who can't save themselves.
So 16.
Just to get up there. Okay, yeah, you get up there. It's not slick or anything. You just kind of get up there, and you're up to where the gnome's at, and he seems to notice you, but he's just so out of it. He's just like, "Arr, arr," and like he might fire off like a random bolt that just goes randomly somewhere, like just hanging.
Well, I guess I'm going to lift the rock.
Okay, roll a strength check.
Do I add my proficiency or anything like that?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
So then 16.
I don't know. I'm not going to say you lift it all the way up, but we'll say you kind of roll it and throw it off the other edge.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty gnarly what's happening to this guy's leg. It's like smushed. It's not like, flat comic paper thin or anything, but it's kind of smashed. And it slowly starts to slide off, and you can tell he's getting ready to fall.
So I'll prepare to catch him,
Okay.
just in case he doesn't have the reaction time to do so.
Okay. I think there's enough time if you wanted to grab. Like, I wouldn't grab his leg, but if you wanted to grab at his clothing or something to keep him from falling, it's just something you could probably do.
I feel like then I got to try and carry him down versus if you just catch him, that saves.
But if he falls, he probably will die.
All right, fine. I'll pick him up and carry him back down.
I won't make you like roll anything or anything like that. I mean, he's small enough to where like it's going to be hard, but I'm like based off your last athletics check, you're going to be fine getting down there.
Okay.
So if you want to grab a hold of him and like carry him down and stuff.
I'll do that. Can I
Okay.
take the crossbow out of his hand before?
Yeah, you can take both of them. He's not holding on to him very hard
All right,
anymore.
cool. Then I'll take both of those and
Okay.
then I'll take them on down.
Okay, they are pretty nice, and they look like they might reload themselves. That's about as much as I know about them.
Okay.
Are you since they're doing this, I'll give you an opportunity if there's anything you want to do. You got the pickaxe there, and there was that big duffel bag.
I wanted to check that duffel bag.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception or an investigate, I guess.
Investigation be 15.
So it takes you a minute to find how to open it, but once you do, you kind of unzip it, and it's full of something you're not familiar with it, but it looks like nasty dirt. Is there like a nature check?
Yes, there is.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
That will be 16.
It's batshit.
Oh.
It's like a duffel bag packed full of bat guano. I think it's like the actual term for it. It's packed full of bat guano.
Okay. Interesting. I kind of scrunched my nose at it and kind of pushed the bag aside.
Okay. By the time he's done with that, you've kind of set this gnome on the ground there, and he's kind of moaning a little bit. His face is super red. You have no idea how long he's been hanging there.
I'll find the flattest piece of ground that I can. Out of my backpack, take the blanket that I have, lay it down, and lay him on it. I'm not sure if I'll need to do a medicine roll for this, but is his leg beyond saving?
Probably. Based on what you know, yeah, you think so.
Okay.
You're not 100% sure, but...
Okay. So I'm going to physically cut off a piece of the blanket. Like, he's a small guy. He won't need much. But I'm going to cut off a piece of the blanket, get ready to make like some gauze, or like a
Bandage of some sort.
A bandage of some sort. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take my hand axe and just cut the rest of his, right above where the wound is.
Okay. Would that be a strength check to try and cut through all of it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll a strength check.
That's an 18.
An 18?
Well, actually, hold on. 21.
Yeah, so the bone was totally severed, which would have been the hard part too, but it was like crushed to dust almost, and a couple hacks and you cut through the rest.
And then as soon as that happens, I'm going to close his mouth and then tie up the bandage as tight as I can.
So he does let out a scream. It's pretty muffled, but it's pretty loud too. So, I mean, he just cut his leg off.
Yeah.
Do I notice any other movement in this cavern of sorts? Anything other than the bats?
No movement besides the bats, and the bats have been pretty loud, but his muffled scream is maybe just a little bit louder, and a few seconds after that, you hear that familiar sort of gnawing sound, that like creaking guttural sound that you heard before when you first got here, except this seems to be more of it.
Can I tell what direction it's coming from?
Go ahead and roll another perception.
13.
Yeah, it's coming from not really all around you, but there's where the pathway keeps going, where it's actually like a path where you can walk through. You're kind of noticing that there's little tiny holes like the one you crawled through, but maybe even a little bit smaller all throughout. You're going to assume that's where it's coming from.
Okay. I'm going to run over, pick up the gnome, and tell the guys, we got to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go pick him up. He's like, hey, we got to get out of here. And 3 of these little things come through one hole. And they're looking around to see what, like, they heard the muffled scream essentially, so they're looking around.
Okay. I'm just going to book it then.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm following.
Okay. You going to do the same?
Yeah, I'm not staying back there with those things.
Okay.
They bit me before.
What's your guys' speed?
30.
30.
Probably 30.
Okay. We'll call it 30. I'm okay with that. So these things have the same speed, but you guys get a leg up on them. But as soon as you start running, they're going to come after you because they're going to hear the different sound. And as you guys run, you kind of turn this pathway and you can see more kind of come out of a hole. First it's like 5 and then another 4 that are chasing after you guys. I'll speed things along here. The path sort of winds a little bit and you've maybe run for maybe 100 yards or so total. And then you turn this corner and you open into this huge cavern. And the first thing you notice is a little rowboat in front of you. And it's like this giant underground lake. And meanwhile, there's more of these things kind of coming, chasing you. I'll say you each get probably 1 action before they're on you.
Hopping in the boat.
Okay, it is facing the wrong direction. It's facing like as it came here, not as it's ready to go.
Okay. Hopping in the boat. No. Putting the gnome down and turning the boat manually. If that
Okay,
makes sense.
so he's doing that.
From the shore.
What do you guys want to do?
We'll use thaumaturgy as far away from us as we can, like in a distracting manner. Make a loud boom sound to try and grab their attention.
Okay. What about you, brother? Anything specific you want to try and do?
Can I do a perception check and see if there's anything that could be worth value around us?
If you want to, yeah, absolutely. The stark contrast in setting is why you noticed the boat right away and why you noticed all the water.
That was an 11.
So you notice that there's like tools here, and it's nothing super. Like there's more pickaxes, some mining equipment, and stuff like that. And there's just a little bit more to make this area look a little bit more man-made than the rest of the cavern.
Then I guess that's our moves.
So you get the rowboat sort of spun around, and you did the thaumaturgy distraction. That basically stopped them for a little bit. But as soon as you guys make any more moves or actions, they're going to be back on you. So I guess the benefit there is I'll give you another round of something to do if you like.
Okay.
The boat's in the right spot now, right?
Yeah. I'll pick up the gnome, toss him in, and just kind of say, let's go.
Okay. Are you...
Well, don't toss him.
Well, not like...
Hey, you said toss. Roll damage.
And use, like, the pickaxe, unless there is a paddle.
There are 2 paddles there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll use the paddles then and start paddling just so that way we can get moving.
You guys gonna get in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So it's pretty tight in there because there's like, it's like a big boat. It's like a human-sized boat, if not a little bit bigger. Kind of wonder how a gnome couldn't do it by himself. There's 6 big duffel bags in there as well, the same kind that you saw before.
Okay.
And you guys get kind of rowing a little bit. These little monsters sort of come up on you. And they stop for a little bit at the water and sort of test it, and a couple of them jump in, but it's pretty obvious they cannot swim, and they sort of flail around, some drown, some get back out, but they all kind of stand there stopping, making their little creaky noises. They're all the really small ones, too, no big ones like you fought earlier. And so you take the boat a little bit further, and it gets to where this big open area comes down into this little cave, and again, you're at an area where you just don't have a lot of headroom anymore. But you still take the boat and it winds to your right quite a bit before straightening out again. And then eventually you come to where there's no more water and you sort of come up on some more dry land. As soon as you get in, you notice that this is a much more like designed cavern. So the walls are flatter. There's more equipment just kind of stacked up. And a lot of it's like rusted and broken down. Nothing really great. And the hallway, it's not like this winding cavern. It's like a straight flat area into the next room, which has even more equipment in there, and then I'll let you guys like roll a perception. We'll just assume you've gotten out of the boat right now.
Okay. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. I remember my dirty 20s.
13.
13. Okay. So as you're kind of walking, you go, like the first area is kind of how I described, and the second area is about the same. In the second area, you can see this hallway where there's really bright light coming from the way down, and you guys kind of follow it, and you come into this sort of tunnel. Like this man-made tunnel, and the floor is no longer like this dirty kind of cavernous rock. It's cobblestone that was like placed there in the center of it, and there's these short stone walls, and in the middle, in between the stone walls, is a rail track with a cart on it, like this metal cart, and there's some weird sort of circular contraption that's pulling the cart. You're not really sure how it works or what it does, but it's there. It's like a steel railroad cart. I guess I should have said that, not like a wooden cart.
It's empty currently, correct?
It is currently empty.
And how big is it? Like, would it fit all of us?
Yep, it would fit all of you and those duffel bags if you wanted.
Do we want the duffel bags of poop?
Sure.
Okay.
They must have been valuable.
My bags.
Okay.
They'll moan a little bit. My bags.
Kavagal will sigh and just... Why he wants shit, I don't know.
He's literally batshit crazy.
But
I feel like you did that intentionally.
I started this whole podcast to make that joke.
This concludes our first and only episode.
Okay, you guys want to load up the cart?
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's sort of this weird metal round contraption that pulls or pushes the cart, but you'll have to sort of do an inspection to see if you can figure out how to get it to work.
I'm not going to do that because Kavagal looks at it and is like...
Try pushing it.
Pushing the round contraption?
The cart.
Oh.
You don't have to roll. I mean, you push it and it just doesn't really move. The cart itself moves, but the thing it's tethered to doesn't at all. It's pretty heavy.
Okay.
Is there a lever or anything on it?
You can just roll like an inspection or an investigate or what have you.
Ooh.
I don't see nothing, apparently. It's a 1.
Oh, okay. Let's say you're really distracted by what's in the bags.
I want to do an investigation to see the, what kind of technology it is.
Okay, absolutely.
What is that, investigation?
Yep.
Yeah. 8. You're really not sure. It's not anything you're familiar with.
Okay.
I mean, you can tell it's made of steel, which isn't too crazy, but you just don't know how it works, or you're pretty sure it pulls and pushes the cart just based on how it's
Is it attached to the rail or the cart?
Both.
Okay. Kavagal, instead of trying to investigate this, is going to, snap in the gnome's face. Hey, how do we work this thing?
He just kind of he's not really coherent right now.
Can we heal him? Can we, make him coherent?
I don't know.
I don't know what you have.
What's, I guess I kind of need to know what his hit points are.
I don't know if I'd be comfortable telling you what his hit points are, unless you can tell, exactly why would you need to know.
Because I have Spare the Dying.
Yeah.
And it will only help me stabilize somebody who's at 0 hit points.
Okay. He's not at 0 hit points.
Okay.
So he's mortally wounded.
Okay.
And if he doesn't get help soon, he'll have to start making death saves.
Okay.
But it's not because he's at 0 hit points.
Instead of investigating this, Kavagal, being frustrated with not knowing how to work stupid technology, is just going to, fiddle with it,
Just hit it and
hit it,
push it
and push it, and just doing different actions to it, trying to get it to do something.
Go ahead.
I don't know what you want me to add to that, but it's a total of 6.
Okay. You hit around it and stuff, and nothing really happens.
Kavagal takes a seat in the cart and just kind of stumped with rubbing his temples a little bit.
Can I detect, if it's magical at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I won't even make you roll for it. It's not. You don't sense any magic.
Okay. Is there a crank? Can you describe again what it looks like to us?
It's sort of you have the cart, and there's this pipe that goes from the cart to this circular apparatus, and it's sort of like it's a hard on the outside, but you can tell the inside. You can see the inside. It will spin a little bit, sort of like a tire inside of a metal encasing.
Gnomes are known for their craftsmanship, so maybe I'll see if it's like a crank or a similar, not a lever, but
Okay. If you just want to investigate the whole area,
yeah,
I'll be fine with that.
That's just an 18.
So there's nothing on the actual apparatus, but in the cart, there's literally just a little pull lever, and after grabbing it, you can tell that you need to pull it, turn it, and push it back.
Okay, so I did it. Is that okay? Fuck. I wonder if that makes it go forward when we need it to go backward. I'll do it.
Okay. You guys all in the cart?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when you pull it, you hear this sort of chick noise, and when you push it, you hear this. It's coming from inside of it, but it's still pretty loud. It's like this big bang sort of noise, and then it kicks up and it literally starts spinning forward and it's pulling the cart with it. All right, cool. Well, yeah, you kind of take your exit through this, and it's quite a while, and it's just this straight track, and it kind of goes up and down, and you just kind of travel for a good 45 minutes, maybe an hour on this track. And there's certain parts where you cross over ravines that it's man-made track built to it. No real turns or anything though, but it's definitely an uphill, a really high uphill climb, until you start to see daylight. And after a while, you are outside. You're, just this little, Looks like this little piddly dink mine entrance. You wouldn't think anything of it just walking by and looking at it. But you come out, and you're in the daylight, and it is daytime.
Okay.
So we'll say it's late evening. We'll say you guys were down there for a while. So
For a day.
Yeah.
Whole day.
And any things of interest, sites, I should say, anything that catches our eye other than, the entrance to the mine.
If you go ahead and roll a perception. I mean, without rolling a perception, I'll say you're just outside. You're in like just the general area. You see a bunch of trees. It's kind of a big wooded area.
Okay.
It's almost like you came out of the side of a big hill.
18.
So looking around, you can see something kind of weird over to your left, kind of maybe like 50 yards away or so. You can kind of see like an unnatural grouping of bushes and trees.
Okay.
But it's pretty far away. And you guys are all still like sitting in the cart, just kind of looking around.
I'll kind of point it out to the others. And this is just something for you to know, Kohl. As Kavagal was writing up that mine shaft, he kind of thought more and more about this gnome surviving in there with, a couple of crossbows and bolts and a very messed up leg. So he was doing his best. So Kavagal's starting to feel a little guilt for not wanting to help out immediately.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a character moment.
Yeah. All right. I like that, man. If you want to, I'll say for either the rest of tonight or the next time we meet, if you want to have like a floating reroll,
Okay.
I'll give you one. I like that stuff. It makes me feel good. Just remind me because I will forget.
I
And
will.
then you'll tell me and I'll deny it. So definitely remind me.
I'll write it down too.
What's a floating reroll?
So basically, he's just allowed to reroll one any die, period.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's like a meta thing that I do just for cool stuff that people say and do.
Additionally, there's a system called inspiration, which if a DM gives you DM inspiration, it just gives you advantage or removes a disadvantage.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, let's do that. Let's say you get one inspiration, but we'll house rule it that inspiration is just a floating reroll.
Okay.
Is that cool with you guys?
That's cool.
So yeah, we'll do that. I like that. So yeah, and it can be any die, period. They are non-transferable though. Okay, but anyways, back to it. Yeah, you sort of see that really just unnatural grouping of bushes and trees about 50 yards to your left.
Okay, I'll let the others know of this. Kind of point it out to them. What do you think it is? Do you think it's maybe where he came from?
We got to get this man to his people. I'll take anything.
Well, let's. I'll lead the way.
You guys want to hop out of the cart and head that direction?
Could we tell if it would be safe for him to move like this, or
I mean, you wrapped up his leg, so I think based on what you guys know medicinally, it's probably just going to hurt a lot for him to move.
okay?
Whether he moves or sits still, he's still going to need. It's more of a time thing.
How long did you say we were there? It was 45 minutes?
The ride, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to change his bandage. I'm
Okay.
going to cut off more of the blanket. and
Okay,
just wrap
he
it.
has been bleeding quite a bit, pretty nasty. So it's definitely not healing the best way possible. And again, you have no idea how long he was there either.
And he was also in a room full of guano.
But before, I have a whole water skin. I'm going to try and wash it off as much as I can.
Okay.
Not trying to wash out all the gore or whatever, because that's an open leg wound. But
Yeah.
definitely going to try and clean it up and whatnot so it doesn't get infected as much.
Just get the dirt and
Yeah.
bad guano and stuff out of
Yeah.
it. Absolutely. Speaking of that, are you guys taking those duffel bags with you?
Yeah.
I can carry them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're kind of heavy, but you could literally carry all 6 of them.
Okay.
If you wanted to.
Carry all 6.
Okay.
I could carry all 6 because I've got powerful build as my race.
I mean, I don't care if you want to carry them.
Aren't you carrying the gnome?
As we're going, I have
can-
the
I guess I can.
book out.
Don't matter to me
I'm
either
reading
way.
a write of get better. I should mention that Barlowe has a in this book. He has rites and passages and all kinds of stuff for specific occasions, like prayers and the verbal aspect of a get well soon card in the form of a prayer, whatever. So he is basically saying, kill him, Vor, it's not his time. Don't take him, so.
Great. So you guys are kind of carrying everything. You got the gnome, you got the bags, you're doing your reading out of your book. You kind of approach this area, and you can pretty much tell what it is. Somebody tried to hide something. So you kind of get up to it and move some of the stuff out of the way, and it's a fairly large cart that's there. There is a horse there, too, that's drawing it. It does not look comfortable. Looks very thirsty. You can kind of tell it's eaten all the grass, around where it's been standing.
I'm going to give it one of the rations. It's trail mix.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, well, it absolutely eats them right up out of your hand.
I'll pet him.
And I'll start loading or getting the cart and everything ready for travel. I don't know where to go.
You want to, like, search the cart? There is, like, stuff in it. It's not empty.
Oh, yeah.
It's really ornate. It's really, like, good quality. Not what you would expect from the things you've experienced the last couple of days.
Okay. Yeah, I'll search the cart then.
Go ahead and roll for that.
Nat 20. Oh, my goodness.
So you get into the cart, and you don't really see a lot. Oh, there's, like, some built-in drawers and doors and stuff, and you open a couple of them, and there's a lot of papers. There's a lot of, like, there's crossbow bolts. There's food and rations and water and things like that. But you open up something, and you find a map. It's a map to where you're at. It's, like, from this small town to this little mine.
The small town we just came from?
No. Well, you don't know. This one is called Oddlot. It's, like, written there. Oddlot. And then there's, like, this pathway to this mine where you're at, where you can just know where you're at now because you rolled a nat 20. So you're like, oh, this is where we're at, so this is where he came from.
I will let you know that I have the Wanderer feat from my background. Excellent memory of maps and all that stuff. I can give you more detailed explanation.
I think I know that a little bit. So yeah, like, you'll remember this, and you could absolutely use this map to get to the town that it's directing from.
Okay.
And I'll even tell you, it looks to be about a 3.5 to a 4 day trip.
Okay. I will let you know that, being concerned for the gnome's well-being.
We're just going to have to roll with it.
Okay.
Okay. So what's your guys' plan here?
I guess get back to Oddlot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like I said, I'm not going to be a stickler about the time. It's going to be about 4 days if you stop and rest every so often. Particularly the horse isn't going to be able to go full speed. You'll be able to get it some water. We'll say there's water in the cart for it. And maybe even some was left out, maybe expecting to take a while, but it's since dried up. So it's definitely not it's not dying or anything like that.
So we're doing Grand Theft Carriage for sure.
Pretty much.
And I can find food and water for up to 5 others.
Yeah, so we'll say you're able to do it for the 4 of you plus the horse.
Okay.
I'm taking full responsibility for the safety and dressing of the gnome.
Okay. Do you have enough stuff to last 4 days of, like, continuously changing the bandage and stuff like that?
Well, if I run out of blanket, I'll just use my secondary vestments.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Let's see. Okay, it's a very boring 4 days, 4 day trip up there. I always give people the option to have, like, in-game conversations if you want. If there's anything you want to talk about on your way there, this would be the time to do it. Otherwise, we'll get to the small town.
I'll idly talk about Kellamvor, not like in a preachy way, but I'll definitely talk, like, if it comes up, So just kind of opening up about the fact that I am an acolyte of Kellamvor. I've very briefly been out of the temple, so practical knowledge and people skills aren't necessarily my strong suit. I have this book with me, and if you touch it, I will kill you, unless I specifically give it to you. But, kind of, I'll get to know you guys, I guess, so, by telling you stories about myself.
So, Kellamvor, what is that?
Kellamvor is the current god of death. He took power from the old god of death because he was corrupt, and with the help of several other gods, took control of the role of the god of death. It took a while, but he is the current patron of anyone who is passing between worlds.
Interesting. This concept of god of death is one that I'm not familiar with my culture, but one that seems noble.
We're not a folk who believe that people should or should not die. We are a folk who believe that people do die, and that's just a natural thing. So we are here to aid the people whose time it is not yet to die, and to make those who are going to as comfortable as they can be, and make sure that they don't pass before their time.
Well, then I'm glad you're on our journey.
Me too.
What about you? You got a Kellamvor?
No, I don't have I don't follow that religion, but cool that you do. Glad you're with us, because we're going to need you, especially with what I do.
What is it you do?
I get hurt. As simple as that.
Don't tempt him, because he will take you if it's your time, and I can't stop him if he does.
Well aware, but don't make it my time. Just calls that watch.
I'll do my best. I'll see if the big man upstairs can do me a solid.
Am I now invincible?
Well, cool. So I like that. I like to just give some time to like have in-game conversations to help you guys bond a little bit. And it seems like all your characters are getting along pretty well for the most part, which is kind of a first in a while for me DMing. So we'll say over these like 4 days, you guys, I mean, you get to make the decision for yourselves, but it seems to me like you guys at least enjoy each other's company for the time being.
John is shaking his head no, because he is a jerk.
Go back to your parlor tricks.
Oh.
I think Kavagal at one point would have gone over the backstory of his name, the bear wrestler, gaining it at the age of 17, fully grown by then. The chieftain of the village, Olvac Stormseer, had a bear companion that got loose one day, and Kavagal took it upon himself to tackle and wrestle with the bear until the chieftain came and calmed the situation. Kavagal left, just like, kind of points at his broken rib. Very minor stuff.
It's pretty cool. But please try and not wrestle bears as I'm around, because you're really just tempting fate.
It was a docile bear.